There's currently a skills crisis going on. Now, you may not realize it because it may not have shown up as much for you as a parent, as someone who's working away maybe 9 to 5 in a job. I know it shows up a lot for entrepreneurs, business owners, stuff like that. It's starting to show up more and more, but it's going to start showing up more and more in all of our lives. And it's this AI versus human skill crisis. What skills are being used where? How is AI being used? Some people are super concerned, super scared, worried about what this looks like. Others, are riding the wave of AI. Some think that there's a bubble that will burst on it at some point here soon. Now, what I know is that, there are skills, things that AI is great at, and there are things that humans have that are irreplaceable. And so I want to cover with you how, as a parent, an entrepreneur, someone working with your 9 to 5, like how you can rediscover that the irreplaceable superpowers of your humanity, the things that you have that AI could never replace. That way you can make a greater impact in your life. You can create more value for the people around you. You can live a more fulfilling life and not have to stress or worry about what technology may be doing now or in the future. So we want to dive deep into that today. Now, I used to think I would measure my own personal worth by how much I could produce and how fast I could do it because, if I could be honest, I was really efficient. I could hit a deadline no matter what. Sometimes, I had to overwork. Sometimes I know I personally could outwork people, get more done in a smaller period of time. And that's when I really start to feel valuable. But when I start watching what AI can do, as I started working over the last 15 years, working with businesses on automation and what they can do to make them, make their lives easier, save time, energy, and money. But now AI doing so much more of those very skills that I started to build my identity around. Content can be created in seconds. Like reports can be analyzed within just a matter of moments. Tasks that used to take me hours to finish, now can be done before you can go refill a cup of coffee. And I remember thinking man, if the machine can do it faster, well, what's left for me? What do I do? And I know that I've talked to a lot of parents and entrepreneurs, people working away in their 9 to 5s, that's a question that is unsettling. It's scary. It causes some concern. You look at it like years of hard work is quietly losing its worth over time. Now, I know I realized, and I'm hoping you can see this too, I built my entire sense of value around metrics that now AI can dominate, that speed, precision, output. I was competing on machine terms. If I'm going to compete on those terms, I'm going to lose. You're going to lose because the machine can outthink you. But the thing that flipped for me, and that I hope you take away, you're competing on the wrong battlefield. My value was never out-computing a machine, out-computing others. It was the very thing that AI can never actually touch. It's the empathy that comes from lived experience. It's the intuition that develops through real relationships. It's the creativity that connects the dots, not data set, not data sets, nothing that a data set or any sort of code could ever do. The kind of authentic presence that makes people feel genuinely heard and genuinely seen, because you are the only person that has your combination of gifts, superpowers, and experiences, which means you are the only person that can make the impact that you can make. Those experiences, they could be good ones, bad ones, ups, downs, whatever, failures, but it's what makes you you. And so you're the only person that can show up in that way and make that impact. No AI could ever do that. And there's tons of research and data out there that backs this up. There's a survey done recently, where they found that 83% of workers believe AI actually makes human skills more important, not less important. 93% of those already using AI say it frees them to focus on higher level work, on the deeper work, on the creativity, the relationships, the strategies. Even the World Economic Forum, they predict 97 million jobs that are going to be emerging because of AI. Because they're emphasizing the skills like empathy and communication and collaboration over technical efficiency. Got to still be able to think like a human. And so we're diving into that. There's the AI versus human skill crisis. And more importantly, how you rediscover your gifts, your superpowers, the power of humanity in a world that's so obsessed with automation. Now, trust me, I love automation. My day-to-day when I work with businesses outside of the GIVER method is grounded in the world of automation. It's I'm all about it. But when you think about it, your empathy, creativity, your intuition, and wisdom, they're not soft skills. They're truly superpowers that you can lean into. Now, I forgot to say it at the top of the video. I like to say it in every one of my videos. Welcome to the GIVER Method channel. That's where you are. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Jake. So glad you're able to join me. If you're back for another video, welcome back. Super excited to have you. Everything we're going to cover today, it is actually grounded in topics, principles, and things specifically found in my book, The Giver Method. There's a link in the description where right now you can get it on discount, on sale for as little as $2. So if you want to pause the video, click that link in the description or in the comments and go get yourself a copy. Like go grab one, or grab one for someone who may need it. It helps you identify your gifts and superpowers, create impact and value, have better relationships, live a more fulfilling life. And all of these skills, what we're going to talk about today, and how they're applicable in this world of automation and AI that's around us. So go get yourself a copy. Pause the video, go open Amazon, The Giver Myth by Jake Talbert, or use the link in the description. Go get yourself a copy. It will absolutely change your life. Now I have a question for you. Have you ever, caught yourself wondering if AI is slowly making you irrelevant? That maybe, I don't know, you thought that like if a tool can do it faster, then what am I bringing to the table? Or maybe you felt that quiet pressure to become more technical to stay in the game. Like, I got to learn the AI, otherwise I'm not going to be able to do this anymore. Maybe you feel a little disconnected from who you are as a part of that. Like, if that sounds familiar, then just listen to me. There's nothing wrong. You're not behind. There's nothing broken. Like, we're humans, and we are living in a world to train, that have been trained to measure our worth on an output instead of impact. And maybe that's hitting differently for you depending on where you're at in life. And so what I want to do is I'm going to unpack this a little bit, what it looks like for parents, entrepreneurs, for people working away in that 9 to 5. We're going to dive a little bit deeper in some of the research that's there. And then we're going to walk through 4 very specific areas that I think will make a great impact for you. So stick around. Hopefully those will continue. Stick around through those principles. And at the same time, maybe you'll get what you need here in the next few moments and you'll be good to go. But I highly recommend you stick around till the end. There's all sorts of amazing nuggets and things that secrets and ideas that I share just freely to you in this area. Yep. So let's talk about it. Let's dive deep. Like, if you're a parent, maybe you're watching your kids grow up surrounded by screens and instant answers, wondering what skills will actually matter in the future, or can I even teach them those skills? Am I modeling that myself? Maybe as an entrepreneur, you're watching AI automate the very things that used to maybe set you apart. Content creation, copywriting, design, customer service, and you feel like you're in a race, you can't win. Or as an employee, you've seen new software that comes in and it's doing your work in half the time, and you can't help but wonder, like, man, does my role still matter? Am I still going to be here? And I hear you. AI the AI's rise in what it's doing doesn't make your human skills less valuable. It actually makes your human skills exponentially more valuable. So there's opportunity right in front of you. The future won't belong to the people who can't outcompute machines. It's going to belong to the ones who can offer what no machine ever can. Those gifts, those superpowers, the empathy, born from struggle, the creativity by perspective, the wisdom that comes from lived experience, the presence that people feel seen and heard. So once again, if you want to dive deeper into that, go get yourself a copy of The Giver Method in the link. I know, like I said, I as I worked on doing everything, for years before I wrote The Giver Method, I tied this value to what I could produce. And I buried myself in chasing that performance. But once again, you can't outperform the machine. When I realized, I started leading with gifts rather than hiding them, everything shifted. My work and my relationships and my fulfillment, the impact I was making shifted. And it was great, I could actually use the machines to help enhance what I'm doing for other people. I use AI every day, multiple AI tools. I use automation every day to help businesses make more money. This is my world. And I can then infuse that with the humanness, because that's what people are craving. So we're going to walk through 4 areas that are going to help you rediscover these irreplaceable human edges that you have. And don't worry, this isn't about adding more to your plate or becoming more technical or anything. It's just about learning how to bring more of you into everything you do, because the future doesn't belong to those who can do more work. It belongs to people who can create more meaning for those around them. Like I mentioned earlier, if you haven't already, grab a copy of The Giver Method book. You can go to thegivermethod.com, learn more about us. Find us on all the social media channels, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, LinkedIn, under the Giver Method handle. If you're looking for one-on-one coaching, someone to walk you through this type of stuff one-on-one, then check out the one-on-one coaching link below. I'd love to dive deeper into what it looks like for you. If you maybe run a podcast, have a team, an event, the AI topic is so important, people are so worried about it. If you have a community where this type of message would resonate with them, then let's talk about how we could bring it to them as well. There's a link about speaking and podcasting below. And then, of course, make sure that you like the video, subscribe to the channel, ring the bell for notification, all the YouTube things, and comment your thoughts along the way. Now, let's pause. Let's take a deep breath. Because today we're not trying to keep up with the AI. We're not trying to keep up with the machines. We're remembering how to be more human, and that's where our real power lives. And so the first area, if you're going to stick around, the first one of these 4 that I want to cover is the first principle I call only human wins. Only the human wins. So it's basically, we're going to talk about a 7-day proof journal where you build awareness of your irreplaceable value. Like, you already have proof that your humanity matters. You just haven't been catching it. You know, when you measure yourself by speed or output, of course, AI will always look scary to you. But like, when you look at the depth, the care, the lived wisdom, you start seeing wins that machines will never touch. So that's where this only human wins sort of a journal comes in. You know, for 1 week, I want you to collect the data points, the receipts, the quick notes that show exactly how your gifts and superpowers, your humanness, your authenticity are making an impact. That empathy, your intuition, experience, your presence, like those outcomes. Once again, this isn't theory, it's just the evidence of what you're doing. So what I want you to do, like how it appears in real life, is you open up a note on your phone. You know, you title it "Only Human Wins," and capture 3 moments a day, like with one sentence. So as you know, a parent, you know, you're going to notice your kids, you know, fine on the surface vibe, but like is actually something seems off. And so you slow down and you ask better questions. Once again, that's not an app, that's you. You know, a proposal, you know, as you're an entrepreneur, like maybe a proposal looks great on paper, but you know, but your gut says, man, this is a wrong fit. So you pass. Once again, that's your future self sending you a thank you note. It's a intuition thing. You know, as an employee, your team like snaps in a meeting, and you don't just like fire off tons of data. You check in human to human to prevent a bigger problem from happening. Once again, like that's not what it is. Like we're not looking for that. We're looking for the human nature of this thing. We're gonna write down this one sentence for these moments where we capture that humanness. So if you need some prompts, like think of the different things we've talked about already. There's the empathy. You know, hey, I read what wasn't said and I responded to the person, not the task. You know, intuition, like think about like, man, I made the call. I made a call my spreadsheet couldn't have ever told me. You know, a lived experience, like you shared a story that shifted someone from like panic to clarity or calm to chaos or chaos to calm or whatever that thing may be. You know, maybe it's connection. You know, you gave 5 minutes of real presence that changed the tone for people. Whatever it is, at the end of the week, you're going to look back at these moments. If you do 3 a day, that's 21 moments. You know, what keeps showing up? Maybe there's patterns where you spot, you know, that you're more intuitive. Maybe there's a steady presence where you calm the chaos. Maybe your superpower is turning the messy experiences into clean wisdom that people can use. Whatever it is, like just notice it, recognize it, because once you see these receipts, these stories, like everything starts to change and shift for you. Stop trying to out robot the robots, and you start playing the actual game of human connection, intuition, creativity, wisdom, real connection, empathy, all these things. You know, true listening, those deeper relationships. That's irreplaceable. And that takes us into the second principle, okay, where you have to find what actually makes you uncopyable. What can AI never copy about you? So this is where you're going to do a gift audit especially for a digital age focus. You know, and so you may have that feeling when AI seems to be doing everything better, faster, cheaper, and you're wondering like, man, what is left? Like, what do I do? How do I get into this game? Now, the truth is, like, there's plenty of things you can do. You have to be able to name what it is that's yours. That's where this gift audit comes in. If you can't name these things, then you can't make the impact you can make. So most people stuck in this AI anxiety can't clearly say what makes them valuable beyond what their output is. They've been so trained to talk about the skills that you'd see on like a resume instead of the human, you know, the capacity that is actually helps people to move the needle. These, you know, all these areas we've focused on: intuition, creativity, experience, presence, empathy, blah, 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 blah. Like, once again, this audit is going to help you to find these things and prove that your humanity isn't just a nice to have, it's your competitive advantage. And so what I want you to do is I want you to grab a notebook or open up something on your phone, block out some time, maybe block out 30 to 40 minutes. You know, and you're going to look at 5 areas within your life. Look at your home, your work, your relationships. Like, we're going to look at you know, different places in those 3 that show up. You know, call out where humanity shows up strong. Like, you know, think about like the empathy depth. You know, when have you felt what someone truly needed before they said it? You know, your kid before a meltdown, the tension before your team defused, whatever. Like a simple, once again, just write down some examples of when you felt you felt the room before anything else could happen. Once again, it's just, you write down a few examples. It's not luck. It's like, that's your like human radar that's sitting there. You know, think about your creative, like the creativeness, the creative synthesis or whatever. Like when you solved something that like there in no way a playbook could teach. Like you connected the dots that no one else saw. You know, because your brain mixes up the life experiences, the emotions, the insights in no way that an algorithm ever could. And then the third thing is look at your intuitive understanding. You know, where have you just trusted your gut and been right? maybe that client didn't feel right, even though like the numbers did. Maybe that you sensed the market change before anyone else could say it out loud. Once again, your intuition isn't guesswork. It's wisdom from your nervous system built on years of pattern recognition and consequences. The fourth thing is you want to look at authentic storytelling. You know, when have your stories actually, like your lived experiences, the things you cover, like when have they impacted people or changed the room? Maybe you shared a failure that made someone feel less alone. Maybe you told the truth with humor and that allowed people to exhale, whatever that may look like. That human resonance. You know, AI can't mimic tone, but it can't pull a beating heart. Like it can't pull from those things. And then the fifth one is like generous presence. Like, who feels seen when you're around? Once again, not just charisma based, but like your capacity to show up fully as you and authentically you and be there for people. Parents who listen without judgment, the colleague who pauses long enough to let someone breathe, the friend who can make calm when everything feels impossible. You know, once again, after you've gone through these 5 areas, connect the dots, write your human signature statement. You know, it sounds something like, hey, my unique value comes from my ability to whatever, fill in the blank, empathy, creativity, listen deeper, which helps others too, and then put in the result. Man, that clarity is going to kill any sort of anxiety around AI or anything else. It's going to build you up with so much more confidence because you name these distinct human edges you have. You stop racing the machines and realizing, man, they can't even touch this. I'm not replaceable. You can't copy me. And so that's where your confidence comes from. That's where the next level of impact starts to truly grow. Now, the third area, like I said, I do believe in AI. I love AI. I love automation. I love using it day to day. So the third one is like this human and AI smart partnership, the smarter partnership you can have with them. Let's let AI handle the tech so that you can stay human. Let's stay so that it frees you for the deeper human work that's out there. Because if we're honest, AI isn't the problem. The problem is, whether we fear it or try to outwork it. And you don't need to compete with the machine, and you don't have to fear it. Like, you just need to collaborate with them. So that's where that human and AI partnership comes from. It's about letting technology handle mechanical stuff that, so you can just double down on being present for the people you need. I'm able to do more content, more videos. I'm able to show up more in calls. I'm able to because I let AI and automation handle so many things for me. I want to show up for the human stuff, the connections, the creativity, in the being more intuitive, like using those gifts and superpowers that are in me. The truth is, like, when you do this the right way, like when you use AI in the right way, it doesn't make you less human. It gives you humanity back because you just show up stronger. And so the first thing I want you to do is I want you to do a human and technical audit where you take a look at your week. What tasks do you do that maybe drain you that could be done faster by a tool? Email, scheduling, note summaries, data sorting. That's technical work. Now what are the things that actually light you up, or move people forward? Mentoring, solving creative problems, sharing stories, building trust. That's human work. The goal is simple. Offload the first kind as much as you can, so you can focus on the second. I always use the principle of like, hey, if you're doing something day to day, repetitive, and you have to ask yourself a question, is there value in a human doing this? Yes or no? If yes, how do we automate parts or make it easier for me to deliver it? If no, gosh, how can it be automated? Can we use AI? Can we make those things happen? Because that's where you start freeing up your time, energy, and money, which are the currencies in life that you have access to. Now the things that light you up, like, just keep you going forward. Your goal, once again, offload the technical and focus heavy on these like human-based things. So the second thing, once again, is like you delegate, but you don't disappear. So AI, you have to look at it not like it's gonna do everything for you. You have to delegate but not disappear. It's your assistant. They're like an assistant to you. It can help you, but it can't be you. Because people want human. If you want it to try to be you completely, then you're watching the wrong video. You're in the wrong place. People crave real and human. That's what they want. So like content writing, things like that. Like, man, let AI give you the rough outline. Give it the first draft. Generate the ideas. Like, fill it in then with your stories, your humor, your lived experiences. I do this all the time. I have it help me come up with ideas. I put my book in and say, hey, help me pull out ideas from this thing. Hey, I did these couple of videos recently and they've hit really well. What else could we talk about? Just so that I can get it out of my head. Let it help me come up with more things. And then I pick what I want and I find the way I'm going to make it human. You could use AI for research. Like, it can do super great digging and summarizing, and deciding to help you decide what actually matters. Once again, now your judgment has the ability to make greater judgment because you can see the context. You can see all the things. Like you can have all these things. Like it makes you a difference maker because like I have more data points at my fingertips. I don't have to go research it all because I can utilize these systems to help me with that. Think about admin and routine stuff like automation for scheduling, notes, templates, emails, follow-up to calls and things like that. Like, wherever you can, like, you have to reinvest the time into what matters most. Like, you want to be doing the deep work, the connection, the reset. That's why, like I said, I've worked with so many businesses for so long in the automation world. AI has now become a huge part of that. But like, it's the idea of like, how do we free you of all these tasks so that you can show up in the areas that it matters most? Show up on those sales calls the best. Show up to your client calls the best. And that bleeds into home. How do you show up at home the best? Because then that ripple effect is amazing what it can do for you. Once again, we're never going to try and keep up with AI. You're just getting clear on like, okay, the noise can finally be quieted because we can use AI for the busy work and we can focus on the meaningful. Now, the third area you want to focus on here is like keep the human work sacred. That's the key. Like never hand off what makes you you. No AI can ever replace the warmth of your voice. When you check in on someone who's struggling, like no algorithm out there can replicate the wisdom that comes from your lived experiences. If something requires more authenticity or heart or empathy, like protect that thing like gold. Make a mantra like, man, technical tasks go to AI, but the human work stays with me. Because the goal isn't to become more efficient, it's to be more alive. When you partner with AI, instead of fighting it, like you stop burning energy on the wrong things, you really can bring back this your creative focus, your presence, your like freedom to actually connect and create with other people. You're not becoming more like a machine. You're finally freed to be more human than ever. That's the advantage. That's the edge. That's what you get by partnering with AI. And then the fourth area I want to cover is going to be this idea of, truthfully, stop competing. Just start standing out. There's a human edge. And so this is hopefully where this all comes together for you. Once you've discovered your human gifts, like the superpowers you have, like and you learn to work with them, how to use AI as a part of that. The next step is like how you show up in the world. Because the truth is, if you keep hiding behind technical skills or apologizing for not being techie enough, then you can stay invisible in a world that's starving for the real thing. I mentioned it earlier in the video. You are the only person that has your combination of gifts, superpowers, and experiences, the good experiences, bad experiences, the wins, the losses, failures, all of those things. So you are the only person who can make the impact that you can make in the world right now. And there are people that are just waiting for you to finally wake the crap up and realize that and start showing up in this way. So stop using the excuses of, I don't know if my gifts or superpowers are valuable enough. They are. Or my experiences, I failed. People need that. They need that humanness. And or like, how do I now utilize these things, technology, to help me show up even more? Stop using those as excuses. There's so many things out there to help you with this. And so this is where you want to focus on the human edge. I want to build up my reputation. That's what you're focused on. How do you build up your reputation, your brand, the relationships, your influence around like what no machines could ever replicate, those things of creativity, your story, the way you make people feel when you show up, empathy, all like, because if we're honest, AI is great for information, it's great for tasks, but it's terrible at connection. And the people and businesses that are winning right now, they're the ones that learn hard, like they learned hard what it looks like. They start leaning into the difference that's happening here, being like, man, I'm going to be human as I can be when I'm human. I'm going to use the AI and the automation and the technology to make my life easier. So here's how you use it. Once again, lead with what makes you human. Start by changing how you talk about yourself. The words we use are so impactful. Most people lead with the resume, the skills that they've got that way. No, think about the human advantage. Instead of being like, man, I'm an experienced professional. I've got 10 years in analytics. Be like, man, I help teams make smarter decisions by combining like the data with the intuition and empathy, that is powered by the people who are behind the numbers. If you're an entrepreneur, stop making automation and start marketing like authenticity that you have. Hey, I use AI to handle busy work, so I can focus on what matters, building these connections, the strategy that reflects who my clients actually are. As a parent, model this for your kids. Show them that their value isn't just about how efficient they are, but the presence, the impact, how they impact the people around them. Oh my gosh, if we got a ton of kids learning things like the GIVER method, what the GIVER method book is teaching, and the book is in the link in the description, should be the first link down there. Like if we had a bunch of kids walking around with this idea in their minds, man, they'd be leading from such amazing places and living such amazing lives. Now, the second thing you want to do here is you want to focus on and actually start to showcase the human wins. So you keep the receipts of your humanity, of like how when you showed up in a certain way with empathy, did it change the situation? The intuition, that prevented the mistake. The story when you helped someone when they felt alone, like all those highlight reels. Like, once again, use those as an entrepreneur. Tell the stories about the client breakthroughs, what happened because like you listen differently. The employees, like, talk about the projects that you succeeded because you caught the data that people were missing. As a parent, share the moments where you had the presence to show up and be authentic and where it mattered most without any sort of a hack or an app or some sort of thing that like guru told you. It's like, no, like these are the human wins. These are your only humans can do these moments. They define the brand of who you are and the impact that you can make. And then say these things out loud. Communicate your human advantage everywhere. Put in your social media bio, your LinkedIn headline, your website, your conversations. Like, you say something like, man, in a world where AI handles a lot of technical stuff, I focus on what the machines can't. I'm the guide. I'm the guide in your superpowers, your gifts, and helping you take your failures and your wins and use them to impact others. I make connection. I have intuition. I do authentic storytelling. Once again, you're not bragging. You're just providing clarity. That's owning your lane, because like if you don't lead with your humanity, people just assume you're another option in a sea of automation. But when you confidently show up as a human, and the human that's happening behind the work, the one who connects and feels and listens and understands, then you become so irreplaceable to them. That's how you future-proof yourself. Not by becoming more like the machines, but by becoming more human and showing up in that way to the people around you. And so if we start to bring this all together, once again, there's a truth here that we've covered, that AI, once again, it's great. You don't have to fear it. And it isn't replacing human value. It's actually revealing it. The more the machines handle all the technical stuff, the more you can be distinctly you in using your human authentic skills. Those skills and superpowers you have become the things that the world can't live without. This is just about staying relevant in work. It's about remembering that your humanity is your true advantage. It's what gives you depth in conversations, insight on decisions, connection in those relationships, and impact that touches lives and makes a massive impact. Because you, once again, are the only person, I can't say it enough, that has your combination of gifts, superpowers, and experiences. So you're the only person who can touch lives and make impact to the people around you in the way you can. And damn it, they are waiting for you to realize it. So here's your next move. Pick one of the things we talked about. Do a gift audit. Think about your only human moments that you journal about. Start to look for those areas. Maybe start partnering with AI a little bit. Start somewhere. Start today, because like, once again, it's some sort of this thing you're craving. It doesn't require you to learn code or compete with the machines on speed or become more technical. It starts with you to remember who you are. And when you use AI as a partner instead of a threat, you free yourself from to create the space for deeper human work that only you can do. When you start leading, creating, connecting from that irreplaceable place that's inside of you, it just changes things. And now, if you want to dive deeper into this sort of work, of the gifts, your superpowers, making that human connection, then use the link in the description and get yourself a copy of the GIVER method. Like I said, it's going to change your life. Buy it for someone else who may need it. It's on Amazon, so if you want to pause the video, go to Amazon and get it, or just use the link in the description. You could head to thegivermethod.com, learn more about us. Dive deep into the principles of your gifts and creating connection and leading with humanity that only you can. Go follow us on social media. If you look on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, you'll find us under the handle of the GIVER Method. Now, a lot of you may be looking for some one-on-one support, finding and owning your own replaceable value. Then I've got just a couple of coaching spots open right now. So you can check out the link about coaching below and see if that makes sense to you. And then if you've got a podcast, a team, an event where this AI topic and the humanity aspect would be applicable, then let's talk about how we bring it to your world in a very real way. There's a link down below. Of course, do the YouTube things, like the video, subscribe, hit that bell for notifications, and drop a comment for something that hit home for you. I read these things. I love hearing from you. Remember, AI isn't the enemy in any sort of way. There's an amnesia that's there that is. The real danger is the real danger from AI isn't you losing a job to a machine. It's forgetting the job that only you can do, being fully and authentically and generously human with your gifts and superpowers. The future doesn't belong to the fastest or most efficient. It belongs to the ones who can offer what the machines never will. The empathy that you have, born from the experiences you've had, the creativity shaped by your perspective, the wisdom that's forged through real struggle, and the presence that make people feel seen and heard and valued. Your combination, those gifts, superpowers, lived experiences, it's like a human fingerprint that's completely unrepeatable or copyable by AI. And People need it. In a world that is drowning in AI and automation, your presence, very real and honest and human presence, is so much more valuable than you can think of. It's actually irreplaceable. So let's go out and make the impact that only you can make. Thank you so much for joining me today. Hopefully you can check out the other videos on the channel. If there's anything else that I could ever help you with, feel free to drop us a comment. And at that point, just have a great rest of your day, and hopefully we'll catch you in our next video. Have a good one.